No, so, prayers.
Are you ready?
It's not about counting. It's about.
Yeah, you know this. You think you can tell us what to do, huh? You think that you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better?
You're damn right, Jay. It's about
and bow to the mass.
have 379,000 points to face John Knox.
Break it down.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am at Maddog, Kelly, the news guy, and tonight I got a very special guest. I will take this down with me in a minute here. But Smackdown was great, as it always is. We're here to review it live. Can't wait to reveal who my special guest is. I am so excited for this. I haven't done a show with her in a while. Look who's back, guys! Yay! I'm excited. Thank you for joining us on the Smackdown Showdown.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here in the Smackdown Showdown room, or, as I call it, the Vortex. This is the Vortex, the Smackdown. We gotta get that trending. Anyway, tonight's Smackdown was fire. Honestly, I liked it beginning to end. And it was really enjoyable. What did you think?
It was a lot. It was a crazy 3 hours.
Yeah, I don't like that it's 3 hours, to be honest with you. Sometimes it gets boring. I feel like the second half of the show gets boring, and by the main event, you're kind of just dragged out and falling asleep. That's kind of how I always feel. But tonight, though, this was a big night because we are 1 weekend away. I don't know if you know this, Cactus Kitty, from Elimination Chamber in Chicago. Tonight,
is that when
more people
the big box
qualified for the Elimination Chamber next week?
Is that when the big box gets revealed?
Yeah, yes. And you can catch Elimination Chamber in the US on ESPN Plus, and you can catch it internationally on Netflix, by the way. Right. So tonight there was the biggest highlight was the triple threat between Damian Priest, Carmelo Hayes, and Trick Williams. That's our poster. But the main event was Aleister Black and Randy Orton, which I was not expecting, and we'll get into that later. But we start the show off, by the way, on Sci-Fi again. Due to the Olympics, which I believe it's going back to USA Network next week. So for US fans, make sure you stay tuned for all that. The first thing we start off is Captain Rhodes. Do you know about Captain Rhodes? Cactus Katie, Captain Cody Rhodes.
Oh, I know who Captain Cody Rhodes is for sure.
Yes, and he started off the night with a brand new t-shirt, by the way. It seems like they're making more merchandise than him and then John Cena, which is crazy, by the way. Crazy. But he started the night off pretty strong. Talking about how, he is going to win the Elimination Chamber, and Jacob Fatu is all talk. And then Jacob Fatu comes out to the ring with all his fire and all his stuff. And he says to Cody, no, you're not going to WrestleMania. I am. So then Nick Aldis comes out, right? This segment was crazy. It was just one after the other, right?
Right.
Nick Aldis comes out, and he's like, well, I actually gave Drew McIntyre the night off. And because you guys are being babies, and I gave our champion that because he deserves it. And then to make this promo even better, make this whole segment even better, I don't know why you're frowned. This was like one of the best parts of tonight. I don't know. I guess maybe you're not a fan. McIntyre comes out, says, I bought a premium box, kind of like what the Young Bucks used to do in AEW, by the way. They also bought premium boxes when they used to be EVPs of that company. So anyways, Drew McIntyre's like, I bought a premium box and I will be watching the show. Now, later on, of course, Nick Aldis still kicked him out, which I don't think was fair and was completely wrong to kick your own champion out of the building. Very disrespectful by Nick Aldis, the general manager of SmackDown, but that was his choice. And let's say I will not be booking Aldis in any of my GM mode matches because of what he did to Drew. Anyway, what did you think of the segment? I thought the segment was great. Open the show.
There was a lot of energy between the three. Cody Rhodes brings a lot of excitement to a ring anytime he shows up, so that was great to start the show this way.
A lot of rumors about him turning heel lately. Not sure if you heard that after Mania. Might happen. Ooh.
Try turning heel. He's not a great heel.
I know. I know. That's what they proved.
That's like John Cena turning
heel.
heel. Yeah, exactly. It didn't work out well for him.
No, what was it? 2 months he was heel. It was so bad.
Yeah,
but
so
no,
bad.
like I said, I thought the segment was good and good way to open the show between the three of them.
Great way to open the show.
The rumor around Cactus Katie is that we're gonna get a triple threat between these three for the title on night one. That's the rumor going around the internet.
They think Cody Rhodes could be a night one.
So
Cody Rhodes is going to be night one.
Yes, the main event night one. Yes, that is clear. Okay. That Drew, Cody, and Jacob Fatu will main event night one. CM Punk and Roman Reigns is confirmed for night two.
Well,
that is confirmed. Anyway,
we still had action.
After all that, we finally get our first match. And I wish Vince was here because Vince hates these guys. He does not like these guys. And I think these guys are the best guys on SmackDown. Cactus Key, I'm not going to lie to you. This faction runs SmackDown. They are SmackDown. They are great. Solo is great. I can't wait for next week. Hopefully Vince will be back next week because next week we have Solo and Uncle Howdy for the Lantern. I'm so excited. But this was Dragunov and Tonga. Of course, Tonga was with Solo Sikoa, Tonga Loa, JC Mateo, and Tala Tonga, a.k.a. My Family Tree. The greatest faction on SmackDown, by the way.
Wow. That's a lot of Tongas in one sentence.
Yes, ma'am. And believe it or not, they're all related, and it's all family tree related. And My Family Tree, they run SmackDown, and they deserve to run SmackDown. They're the best. Usually I get some sort of, debate back from Vince. That's why tonight kind of feels a little weird because, Vince will always debate me saying, oh, they're this insane clown posse. And now they're the best for the reason. I always tell them that. Anyway, besides that, this match was pretty damn good. Honestly, I'm not surprised that, the heels cheated to win, obviously, and Tama Tonga got the win. I thought this was a solid match, pretty predictable. They're trying to build Family Tree up to be the top dogs on the brand, and I think that's really working. They're really solidifying that. And then after the match, we got Uncle Howdy and his crew coming in, Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six coming in. And next week, it's now announced it's going to be Solo Sikoa versus Uncle Howdy for Bray Wyatt's Lantern. Which, fun fact, by the way, that's not a real lantern. Me and Vince actually had a whole conversation about this. Believe it or not, we actually did a whole debate. If you guys want to go back a couple episodes and watch that on our previous episode, you can. Me, Vince and I had a debate about, you know, the lantern and where the real lantern is. The real lantern is at WWE headquarters, by the way. So
Yes, it's true.
the real
It's in
Bray Wyatt
Connecticut.
lantern. There were actually there were 5 of them he used, according to his wife, or his widow now. And apparently, from what I did the research on, a lot of YouTube videos, by the way, apparently WWE has all of them. And the most sacred one was the first one he came out with. And the one he came out with, the first of the Fiend, I believe in 2018 or 2019. And then the final one in 2022, they also have that at the warehouse as well. Triple H wants to kind of make everything into a museum, and the plan is going forward to display all of that. They're gonna try and do like a whole Bray Wyatt like legacy wing because of how like big he was to WWE and the wrestling world. Anyway, moving on from this, we got, you know, like I said, we got all that. We had Apollo Crews, that he is doing well, and you know he wants to, you know that he is getting crushed, and then after that, Uncle Howdy and Solo, they start, you know, going back and forth, and then you have Drew McIntyre in the back with Nick Aldis, and of course, you know, he says Drew has to leave. This was the most absurd thing I've ever seen, making a champion leave the show. I'm not going to lie. Why would you want? That's like Tony Khan saying to MJF, "You're, you know, by the way, we miss you over there on the what was it, All Elite Heat podcast this week. Please go check out our episode. Venomous, Vince and I did that. We stepped in. That was a lot of fun. Missed you over there. You know, but anyway, like I said, my example, that's like MJF. You know, you basically, you know, getting kicked out of the building by Tony Khan for no reason. When he's champion, there's no reason for MJF to get kicked out of the building. There's no reason for Drew McIntyre to get kicked out of the building. Drew came back at the end. We'll talk about that later, ladies and gentlemen. But like I said, please go check out the episode we just did on Wednesday. Awesome episode. Had so much fun filling in. Such a different pace, SmackDown and AEW. It really is. Anyway, moving forward, we had Byron talk to Randy Orton about the whole thing, and then Selena Vega's trying to get into his head, and then that kind of confirms tonight's main event between Randy and Aleister Black. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. Then we also, you know, in the back, we also have Jay Cargill. She gets, we'll get a promo. And then, you know, we have, after the break, we come back, and then we get Nia Jax, Lash Legend, and they're basically, they, you know, they're just there, and they want a title shot. So
who doesn't want a title shot? You want a title shot. They got a title shot. Everybody wants a title shot.
Yeah. Look, everybody wants those tag titles. I told Vince a couple weeks ago the division is really stacked as long as they keep it stacked. Now I'm hearing rumors that they might even have Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair still team up until WrestleMania. And then Alexa Bliss might turn on Charlotte, actually.
Oh, it's happening. I just don't know when. Yeah, it's happening. I just don't know when.
That's the thing. Now they're saying it's not a Mania match. Today, they actually just said this like an hour ago. One of the sources literally said an hour ago that now the WWE's considering her turning heel Alexa Bliss after WrestleMania, which I was telling Backlash last week and a couple weeks ago that I thought they were going to have a lock-in match at Mania, but it doesn't look like that's the case anymore.
I think it's a Backlash situation.
It could be. Tampa, by the way, tickets went on sale today. If you guys are interested in Backlash, I have a buddy of mine. He's actually going. The price he paid, May 9th, I'll tell you, wow, the prices for WWE in 2026, ladies and gentlemen.
Ridiculous.
Outrageous. Okay, moving on. So anyway, so after that, we go back to the ring and we get Jade on the mic. She successfully defended her title last week against Jordan Grace. And, she said Jordan Grace tried and she wasn't good enough. And she wants to focus on Liv Morgan. And as for, she said, she lives in, well, this is the thing. Jade lives in Atlanta, so this is what she teased. So will she show up to Raw on Monday? So, she'll be there, by the way, for Liv's decision. She said she'll be there for Liv's decision on Monday. So it's confirmed, and WWE confirmed it later in the night. Jade Cargill, the SmackDown Women's Champion, or the whatever heavyweight women's champion, whatever they're calling it, undisputed women's champion, I think that's what they call it now, is going to Raw on Monday.
I feel like that's so far out.
Yeah. And here's the thing.
Like
I was talking to Vince last week, right? And Vince and I were talking. They don't have a plan for Jade yet. They don't think it's Liv. They think the game plan, at least I think the game plan, and the sources say the game plan is Stephanie eventually, obviously. And they're throwing a lot of names out there. I've heard Charlotte, Jordan Grace is still being thrown out there again. They're just throwing names out there to see what sticks for Jade. I feel bad for Jade in this instance because she should defend her championship at WrestleMania, and
she shouldn't have it if they
don't
can't.
know who it's going to be against
for it. Yeah.
What? I'm sorry.
She shouldn't have it. She shouldn't have it if they have no storyline.
That's what Vince was saying. Vince was saying that she's not a good champion. I disagree. I think she looks the part and she acts the part.
I'm not saying she doesn't act or look the part. I just don't think it's the right time for her. That's all.
Right. A lot of people say it's too early for her to be champion. Other people say, it's not. It really does depend, I think.
I think it to be a good champion, you have to have a good storyline. And I don't think she's got a storyline. I think she could. I just don't think she's built it up yet. That's in reference to AEW, you see the same thing with Megan Bayne. She's big. She's building that resume up, but she's not there yet. She's not.
No, Megan Bayne, the goddess, by the way. But no, yes, I agree with you completely about about Jade. They have to build it, and they don't have anybody. Now, the interesting thing, when Jade left, Charlotte Flair came out. But once again, Charlotte Flair did not qualify tonight for the Chamber. We'll get into that match in a little bit. So I don't know. The rumor is Jade and Charlotte, but I don't know.
I wonder how they're going to pull that off.
Not Jade. I thought it was going to be Alexa and Charlotte. Now they're saying that might happen at Backlash. So there's a lot of what ifs right now. And it's kind of crazy. Anyway, Charlotte comes out. And, cross pats with the women's champion. And I believe Alexa Bliss was, I believe, heads to the ring. No Alexa Bliss with Charlotte, by the way. And then we get back, and then we got the confirmation about Randy and Aleister Black being tonight's main event. Yay! Okay, we'll get into that later. This triple threat match between Charlotte Flair, Kiana James, Nia Jax. This match is pretty good. I honestly like a lot of back and forth. I can't believe Kiana James actually took the win. She actually reversed. It was a very cool thing. She reversed Charlotte's figure eight to actually end up winning this match. It was very, very cool stuff.
It was very slick move she pulled there for the win.
I'm surprised they put her in here. I actually thought they would put Charlotte in the Chamber, so this whole Alexa Bliss and Charlotte thing would build up. But now it doesn't look like they're doing that. And it looks like they might keep them as a tag team for WrestleMania. And then, like you said, break them up after Mania and have the match at Backlash in Tampa.
Yeah, I think that's where they're going with that for sure.
Most likely now, yes, the way things, from what I've read today, or at least in the last hour, because everything's changing hour by hour, minute by minute in the pro wrestling
Welcome to
world.
WrestleMania season.
No. Well, no, I know. It makes my job a lot harder. Thank you very much. Anyway, yeah, I thought this match was good. Kiana James won it. And it went for about 12 minutes.
She's holding herself
right after that,
good,
I believe in the back we had Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. They were talking about who, doesn't matter who's next tonight. I still don't know why Io was there. I don't know if Io's hurt. I don't know if something's going on. I don't want to say because none of the outlets have said anything about Io yet. But Io did not have this match. Rhea had this match with Giulia, and Rhea talked about how she's going to beat Giulia in a non-title match, by the way, for the to be clear. Then Rhea talked about winning the chamber, by the way, and how she's going to end up winning the Elimination Chamber to go on the main event WrestleMania for the women's division. We'll see.
Which I could see that too.
I don't think so, but I
can see that. We'll see. She's got enough backing behind her.
Maybe, but do you really want Jade? Because remember, this Elimination Chamber's for Jade's title. Becky, most likely, I'm assuming Becky and AJ are going to have some sort of match at Mania. I know the match is going down next week.
I was going to say, what's going on with them?
I know they're having the match Saturday on, oh my God, Saturday Elimination Chamber in AJ's hometown of Chicago. But they're probably going to do some sort of stipulation match at Mania again. They're going to run this back for sure. It's not just a one and done. I think Becky retains, and then I think AJ wins the big one at Mania. So Becky's title's off the table. Let's say Liv Morgan chooses Stephanie, like the sources are saying, right?
Oh, I for sure see that.
That's the case. Then you're saying Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. If that's what you're pitching for Mania for
I
night,
can see
probably
that too.
night one.
I can see that too.
Okay.
Not gonna deny it.
I can see it, but I don't know. I've heard Charlotte. I've heard Alexa Bliss, and Alexa Bliss is in the chamber, by the way. So, it does make sense. Guys, next week when Vinny hopefully gets back, we will go over the chamber card. And, we'll make our predictions as we always do here on Smackdown Showdown. Anyway, the next thing we got, moving on from them, we got Oba Femi. The ruler of NXT, no longer NXT, is now on the blue brand. But the whole thing is will he go to Raw? Will he go to SmackDown? Will he go to Raw? Will he go to... WWE keeps teasing it, and it's driving me nuts. But I love the booking of it because I think it's just brilliant booking. I really do. Anyway, we get this match. I really don't know why we had this. This was one of those, as Vince calls it, it was a filler match. Oba, of course, was going to win. I didn't understand this. I don't know why they did this match, honestly, and that was that. That's just kind of how I feel.
They're giving him as much publicity as possible. He's going to make his run very soon, and that's what it is.
No, yeah, I agree.
So.
No, I absolutely agree. This is the thing, though, and I got to ask you, I know you're AEW and all, and make sure you guys check her out Wednesday night with the Sheriff. I heard Sheriff's going to be back. Little Birdie told me that Sheriff's going to be back Wednesday night with you. Where do you think Oba's going to land? Do you think it's going to be on Raw, or do you think it's going to be on SmackDown?
Does it really matter? No one can decide who's on who anyways. They bounce back and forth.
Right.
To be
No,
honest,
yeah, I agree with that. I agree with
I
that
think,
completely.
to be honest, I think he'll end up being on SmackDown overall. But does it truly make a
Personally,
difference?
I would
No.
like him to be on SmackDown. Just giving my 2 cents because I would like to cover him every week. I would get to that's what we do here at SmackDown Showdown, by the way. But anyway, moving on from that, we get probably some of my favorite stuff. We got Aldis in the back talking about with our truth, and our truth is just doing
so
some
good to
of his
see
work.
that, our truth.
Right. And they talk about the box. Now, Cactus Giulia, I gotta ask you, what's in the box?
Seth.
What's in the box?
I think it's Seth. I think it's a Seth situation.
Okay.
I do not think it's a Chris Jericho.
I'll tell you this. As in tonight's news segment goes, it is not Chris Jericho. Okay, right. Moving on from that, it is not Chris Jericho.
No.
I'll get into why. I'll get into the why later. I actually,
as everyone thought,
hint
he
on
was
Wednesday
not
night
going.
show. Go back and watch Wednesday night because I dropped a hint on Wednesday night show about Jericho and why he's not coming to WWE for at least another year. Anyway,
I don't think
moving
he
on
go anywhere at this point. He could literally sit at home for all.
I mean, look, I would love for him to come back. I'm the ultimate Jericho fan. Obviously, I wore my Chris Jericho. I don't get to wear shirts like that over here. I always rep WWE when I'm on the SmackDown Showdown. But when I was on the AEW Elite podcast with Vince the other night, I was wearing my Learning Tree University shirt. And proudly representing the Nueve, as the shirt says. And yes, he's gonna stay with AEW. It looks like so.
Supposedly, we haven't seen him in almost a year.
Yes, and there's a reason for that. It's because he's been very busy with this band Fozzy, and he's been very busy with just everything. And yeah, you can always catch his podcast, by the way. I listened to it today while I was getting my iron infusion. I had a half hour, so sat there and listened to like very great episode. Anyway, moving on from that, about the box segment, we don't know.
I like
Damian
the box
Priest
idea, though.
went up to Nick Aldis. And he said he appreciates the qualifying spot for tonight, for tonight. Anyway, back in the ring, Tiffany Stratton said she'll take on Alba Fire, by the way. So that happened. Alba Fire wheels Chelsea Green down with Chelsea Green's broken ankle, which, by the way, is a real thing, by the way, and that leads into our next match. Tiffany Stratton versus Alba Fire with Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green really is hurt. It does mess up her WrestleMania plans, and it's not looking good.
Why is she there if she's not hurt?
WWE still wants to utilize her. Apparently, she's a huge merchandise strategy for the
I don't disagree.
That's why she's still there. Apparently. Now, personally, I think this is a smart strategy. I told Vince this last week. Keep her on TV, keep her relevant while she's hurt, and make the money rolling, because she's a lot of big money, man. She makes, there's a lot of big money with Chelsea Green's name. Not gonna lie, she sells a lot of merch. I think she was number 5 on WWE's top sellers. For January. So that's why she's there. Even if she's hurt, they're using her because they want strategy. It's a marketing tactic. I personally think it's brilliant. She's hurt, but you know what? They're using her anyway, and they don't want to give her the momentum, and it's very, very cool to see. So anyway, this match, I really enjoyed it. Tiffany had some good moves here, and Alba Fire had some decent moves throughout this whole thing. But it was very predictable, and Tiffany ends up getting the win. What did you think?
I think it was a great match. I liked that they still, like you had said before, keeping Chelsea Green in the picture, even though she's supposedly very hurt. It was a good match.
I mean, I like the suicide dive at the end, and the swanton bomb was very, very cool.
Oh well, the moves were very interesting. Very entertaining match.
The moonsault that Tiffany did. I
feel like Tiffany's overrated.
Was really cool.
I feel like she already had her peak time.
Right.
And I am very sad of the road that they're going on with her.
Right.
That's my just 2 cents.
No, that's understandable. Anyway, right after that, we're back to the ring here, finally, after, we do this whole thing in the back. Cody Rhodes, he found Sami Zayn. Sammy's not doing well, blah, blah, blah. Cody said, he helped when Drew got involved, and this, that, and the other about Sammy and the Cody, and this went on for a while, and it's just, building up, and then Cody walks off, but then Trick Williams shows up to mock Sammy, and then Sammy charges after Cody, and apologizes for losing his temper, but Cody was right here. Cody will be champion again. So next time, he's around, he won't forget it. And Sammy turns to the dark side, and Simmer, and that's pretty much it. So I don't know. Will Sammy turn? Will Sammy not turn? No idea. But sorry, my glasses there. I had to fix it real quick.
I also don't think Sammy's a great heel.
I don't think so. Neither was John Cena. I don't think Cody Rhodes will be one neither. But they got to do something with them. I don't know what they're doing with them. A lot of people say they should just let his contract expire and let him go to AEW. I don't think that's happening. It's not a Johnny Gargano situation over here. So, yeah, I do believe that they'll do something with Sammy. I just don't know what. Maybe if Cody does win at Mania again, maybe they will, have Sammy and Cody down the line. That could be interesting, even if it is face on face.
Maybe.
A lot of people will be for that. Anyway, after that, we get back to the ring. After that whole thing, we get Carmelo Hayes, and he will be going to the Elimination Chamber, he says. Then we get Damian Priest by Trick Williams. Trick Williams was over, as always. Whoop that trick. Woo, right? Whoop that trick. Yes. No,
that's a great. I love that little saying that they do.
But anyway, it was over. It was over. Just take my word for it. It was over. It was great. This match had everything and you wanted in a great match. This had a lot of big head kicks. This had a lot of, big, super kicks here. I think one of them used the Razor's Edge there. I think Trick used Razor's Edge. There was a lot of cool stuff in this match, and ultimately, Trick Williams is going to the Elimination Chamber. What did you think?
This was a great match. It was a lot of testosterone. Let's put it that way, in the very nice terms.
Well, I mean, it's three heavy hitters. Sorry, my glasses.
Exactly. It is.
But three heavy hitters. Yeah, that's what you're going to get there. Absolutely.
And I think Damian Priest was the better option over R-Truth, but R-Truth would have been fine, too. It would have been fine.
You mean Trick Williams? Trick Williams got in.
Trick Williams, yes.
Not R-Truth. R-Truth was in the back, by the way.
I know, but he was talking with the general manager.
Yes, he was.
Yes. So
I get your confusion, but no, yeah, Trick Williams is going to the Elimination Chamber. I personally would have liked Damian Priest to win as well, but
yeah,
can't get what you want. maybe in WWE 2K26, you
Coming out soon.
can, and you will, by the way. I already pre-ordered my copy of the Monday
Nice.
Night Wars edition, so let's go. Anyway, moving on, we got the Jade Giulia, by the way. We'll head to the ring. In the
Yep.
back, here's a little AEW stuff for you. Cactus Katie. In the back,
up?
we got, once again, Johnny Gargano looking at the mysterious box. Candice LeRae comes over and points out that Johnny Gargano is on top of the box, like Snoopy being sad. Jordan comes over to talk to Aldis. Candice and Grace basically go back and forth. So they have a match next week. Johnny continues to be sad, and that's this segment. Then Giulia heads to the ring. She's going to take on Rhea Ripley, and we'll get to that match in a minute. What did you think of this?
Isn't he moving on from WWE? Yeah, sooner or
They have
later.
nothing for him, and they're giving her
Yeah.
send-off match most likely next week from what the Observer said. I know EC's going to kill me
There you
because
go.
I said the Observer, but you know what? From what they said earlier tonight, I think next week's her final match. They're going to bury her, and they're going to move on. So, yes,
There you go.
they're going to follow Ciampa to AEW. They're just letting it run out. His contract ends, I think, next week at the end of this month. So
Well, there you
I
go.
would not
There
be
you go.
surprised, Cactus Katie, unless Johnny Gargano has a 90-day contract with them. I would not be too surprised we see the two of them show up with Ciampa at Revolution one way or another in a couple of weeks.
I was just gonna say either
Where is it? LA, I think it's in LA. I think Revolution's in LA this year.
Either he's gonna show up at Revolution or he's gonna show up at Double or Nothing in New York. If he does have a 90-day, he'll end up at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, that's pretty big, by the way. They're having it over in Queens, New York. A little far from me, but maybe I'll travel.
As long as he stays away from the Don Callis family, we'll be okay.
I agree with that. Anyway, moving on, we got Jade getting photographed in the back there. BFAB shows up, and Michin also shows up. The complaint about Jade injuring them, and Jade just shakes it off. And then we go back to the ring, Giulia with Rhea Ripley, and that goes into this match. This was a fun match. There was a quick 2 count here. I thought, it was going to be very fast. 1, 2, 3, but it wasn't. Then there was another.
Giulia sent Rhea a few times across the ring.
Yes, we have. I agree with that completely. And it is very fun. It was fun with the electric chair face buster. 2 count. She kicked out of that. And then they have the, I don't even know how to say this, the Darchi knee. And then, you have the Northern Light bomb. The light bomb lands a headbutt. And then all of a sudden, you had the Riptide. She tries the Riptide, but then Jax and Lash show up and attack her. And Rhea still won, by the way. Due to disqualification. Non-title match. What do you think? Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, this was rough. I agree with you completely. This was rough, and it did not need the attack by Lash Legends and Jack. I don't know what the story is there. I guess because they want the tag titles. I guess they're trying to do that. But the attack was not unnecessary. I kind of hate when WWE does this, and they've been doing this a lot lately where they'll just do these DQs, and I just think it's silly. I really don't. Anyway, moving on from that, we got, Io runs down to help her, and then Rhea Ripley and Io Sky start fighting Lash, and, Lash and Nia Jax. So then Femi walks to the back, and then he finds Miz, and Miz
Yep.
puts him over and offers to be his mentor. This is such a nice guy. The Miz is such a nice guy, Cactus Katie. You know why? Because he's mentoring all these young guys, and look where they are. For example, Carmelo Hayes was in a title shot for the Elimination Chamber tonight, and he's U.S. champion, and still has no respect for the Miz, his mentor. It's just
That is
disrespectful.
his job. That's his job.
Disrespectful. It's disrespectful and distasteful, as it is, as Wade Barrett put it, and I couldn't agree more. Anyway, Femi would love the Miz to show him the ropes next week, and Aldis, and goes to Aldis. Miz, way too late, realizes what he's doing and setting up for a match. He's not happy about it. So we're getting Oba versus Miz next week on SmackDown. Yay!
I don't know if I want to see that. I think Oba is so big and the Miz is so small. I don't like those matches. But good luck to them.
Right. Anyway, before that,
or after that.
Yes, after that. Sorry about that, my bad. I'm a little tired too, Katsky. It's been a long day here. A lot of doctors, not gonna lie.
It's been
a lot of
week.
appointments, but I've had a lot of time to look up segments and news and get ready for this, so I'm kind of prepared.
Awesome.
But anyway, after that, we got Charlotte Flair. And she said, she is being all upset. Alexa Bliss is trying to come over to cheer her up. She'll be okay despite Charlotte losing. Charlotte totally isn't upset that her friend wasn't there, but Kiana James comes over and says, that they're too codependent on each other. Giulia is also there and brings up that, Bliss, and Bliss brings up that James is in the chamber while Giulia isn't. Bliss is laughing at James, calling themselves powerful. That pisses Giulia off. And then James, to drag her off, Charlotte basically, is all sad. And then she's fine and drags Bliss off with her. And then we move on. Commentary confirms next week it will be, I don't know how you say this, Rhino, I guess, Rio.
No idea.
Versus Nia Jax versus Lash Legend. Basically, guys, it's Rhea, Ripley, Io Sky, basically, versus Lash and that. And once again, as I said earlier in the show, we will get Uncle Howdy and Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa in the Lantern says that, he's going to, keep. And this, by the way, was the best segment of the night. I know Vince would disagree, but he's not here. In the back, Solo says that he has the lantern and tells his, in my family tree to get in the car. He tells Tama that he's proud and he knows that Tama will be United States champion once they down and they get done with the Wyatts. Solo leaves. Shinsuke Nakamura come over to talk to Tama as he's happy, being in Solo's shadow, being a soldier, being a lackey, whatever you want to call it. And he says that Tama should be his own man and should leave the My Family tree for us next time. Tama really made of with Shinsuke Nakamura being a manipulator. And nice enough again. And Tama has no part of leaving My Family tree for that. So there you go.
There you go. Well, guess what time
it is,
about buddy?
All that. Wasn't that, I just got to play before we move on to the main event, right? Wasn't that the best part of SmackDown? That was the best promo from Solo, and the best part work from the Tongas, Timmy Tonga, whatever their name are, Tonga Tama, Tammy, Timmy, Tonga Longas, all of them, just fantastic work.
There you go. That is.
I guess you were not a fan of the segment. I know Vince probably wouldn't either if he watched it.
I just like watching wrestling. I don't care about the segments.
Fair enough, I guess. Okay, moving on to the main event this week, ladies and gentlemen. And I got some news, and we'll get up out of here because it's almost midnight here, and I gotta get to bed before my mom gets mad at me. Anyway, main event: Randy Orton versus Aleister Black with Selena. See, I'm tired. I'm slipping myself. This was a great match between two of the best on SmackDown. Everyone says they're not utilizing Aleister Black well, and he's being treated like
I agree.
You don't see him very often. That last week. But honestly, putting him in the main event against Randy Orton is a big thing. And honestly, Aleister Black ended up getting this win, which was huge. So, yeah. I think the ending, right, with everything, there was a lot of good stuff. There was an RKO here, Aleister Black with the really cool chin lock throughout this match. There was a lot. Randy dropped the DDT with the whoop that trick. That was pretty fun, by the way. Yeah. Randy acknowledging Tricky Williams in the chamber, by the way. They're going to have to fight next Saturday night. Stay tuned for that. This was a lot of fun, but at the end, things got a little sloppy, and it turned for the worst here at the end of our match. The end of the match, we had basically, we had, the DDT, and then, they had into the ring, but Drew runs behind the ref to clock Randy with the title belt. This was so great of Drew, by the way. Such a great champion. He's doing so many great champion things, by the way. Just letting you know, Cactus. Just letting you know. Drew's doing great title things, as they call it. Championship material, for sure. Might even say better than CM Punk. Anyway.
Wow.
He came, clocked Randy. Cody basically showed up to chase Drew off, but he was too late. And then after that, Randy takes a black mass. Aleister Black picks up the win.
The ref missed. The ref missed it.
SmackDown. Then you have a pose between Cody and Drew at the end of our show.
Yep.
What did you think of all this? Like a pretty chaotic main event tonight.
I mean, it was a B team kind of match. It wasn't like over the top, but it was very entertaining.
I think it had a lot of great stuff. I do think the ending was a bit over the top, to be honest with you. I do think the ending was a bit over the top. We really did not need Drew to come out again and mess everything up.
No.
And we did not Cody to run after him. And I'm surprised Jacob Fatu didn't come out running too. We didn't see him, but I was just kind of surprised.
He missed the bell. He missed the bell. So what's the news, buddy? Let's start with the news.
Yeah, give me a minute. Let's run the thing. I don't have it here, but I
Hey guys, what's up?
Alrighty then. I don't say that anymore because I'm always on the air now, by the way. Okay. I'm by myself here. I'm usually do this with Vince, but it's fine. Okay, so I guess here, according to Bloomberg, they want Pat McAfee to be the next Sylvester Stallone. I do want to tell Vince this. I'm going to text him that story because I do want to ask him what his thoughts are on that. Anyway, the other one here, we got Body Slam claims that their next PLE in Saudi Arabia will be Night of Champions on June 27th. Wrestling Votes has confirmed that WWE just got done with a Shawn Michaels documentary and will premiere soon. I don't know where. Stay tuned. This one's interesting, and I wanted to talk to Vince, and I gotta talk to Vince about this one too, actually. AEW star Britt Baker actually is no longer doing full dentist work because wrestling fans scare her. Apparently, too many fans are showing up to her office, and she's always been down for a chat, she says, but she said sometimes people actually want to do bad things to her, and that's just not right, honestly. And in all honesty, they should just leave her alone. I know Vince even, I think, took the trip to her office in Orlando, because the office is in Orlando. Everyone knows this. It's not a secret. But she's stepping back because of the crazy wrestling fans. AJ Styles was actually planned to retire in WrestleMania, but they chose to do it at the Rumble with Gunther instead. They actually mentioned that. And then my final piece of news is that Chris Jericho is locked in an AEW contract. This is what I was talking about with Cactus Katie earlier, beginning of the show, ladies and gentlemen, is locked in a contract with AEW, and that it was frozen when he took time off. So I'm assuming it's still, it's unlikely that Jericho's going to leave. The Observer chimed in on this, and it looks like they're saying that it's unlikely Jericho's going to leave AEW anytime soon. In that whole thing, the deal might have been extended due to his time off last year, but, no one's heard any reports along those lines. So that's what we got. And I am done. Okay. Welcome back. I missed you.
Well, thank you, Maddog, for the news. I wanted you to have all
I
the
missed
glory.
you there on that last story. I thought you wanted to hear about Jericho, but I guess
I did hear about it, but I was
all right. Well, as long as you were, as long as you, heard about the
I
deal,
did.
what's going on about how he's locked in AEW contract. I don't think he's in the box. I honestly don't think he's in the box.
It's gonna be
I think
interesting.
it's somebody else. Yeah, I got a
soon.
couple people in mind, but for now, no, I don't think it's Jericho.
Well, you know what time it is? It is nighttime. And it
yes,
is
yes, it is. It is 12:07, ladies and gentlemen. We are gonna get up out of here. Next week, Vinny and I will be back for a Smackdown Showdown. We will go over the Elimination Chamber card, make our predictions as we always do. And it's gonna be a fun show to review the final Smackdown before the Chamber Saturday night. And yes, I'm Maddog Kelly. Thank you, Cactus Katie, for stepping in for me.
Anytime. Thank you guys
I had
so
a blast
much
doing this with you. And before we get on out of here, I would like to quickly run down the shows. I know Raw Review's been a bit on hiatus. I don't know when they're coming back. Hopefully Monday they'll be back. If not, check them out the following Monday. I know they'll be back sometime. I hope the EC and Big Daddy Cool do a full prediction show. We'll be doing our own. Me and Vince we go over the cards no matter what, as well as they do, to give our insight, because we're like right before the show. Anyway, not the point. NXT Tuesday. Check out the show I used to be on, believe it or not. The NXT duo with the wrestling doll and the great Grand Slam Pooba. We actually had to go over that and rehearse that backstage for like 4 minutes because he got mad at me for pronouncing it wrong. So I hope I'm saying it right there. Please check them out right after NXT. Usually around 10:15, but sometimes they go live earlier. And for me doing the social media stuff, I always have to stay on top of it. So, but it makes my life fun. They do. Anyway, please check those guys out. And then, of course, you can check us out on Friday, myself, and when Venomous Vincent returns.
About Wednesday night.
That's right. You have a show on Wednesday.
Right here.
I'm sorry. This is how tired I am. would you like to pitch your show, please, while I take a drink?
Oh my goodness. Yes, Wednesday night you will have the sheriff, myself, bringing on all the AEW information. Fly Eagle Fly. We will be live, back to normal this coming Wednesday, so check us out.
I'm glad, by the way. I'm glad. Sorry, I'm so tired too. It's been such a
I
long
am
day.
too. We're gonna end this show.
Anyway, no. Yes, I'm glad you guys will be back next week. You guys have a really good show next week, not gonna lie.
Yes. Very excited.
Anyway, I think MJF will make his decision about the Texas death match. So stay tuned for that. That's a big deal, by the way. I can't wait for you guys to cover that. Actually, and we mentioned that, by the way. If you go back and watch our Wednesday, I did.
I watched it.
We mentioned how you guys are lucky. I'd say you guys are lucky you get to cover, MJF making his decision or not.
Well, Maddog, if anything ever happens, we need coverage next Wednesday, we'll let you know.
Of course. Thank you for doing this. Catch us next Friday night before the Elimination Chamber. Myself, Venomous, Vince will be back. We'll be holding it down here in the Smackdown Showdown. I am at Maddog Kelly, the news guy. That is Cactus Katie. We're about to sign off. And wait, before I go, there is one more thing I do need to do. I do need to do this because I am going to get yelled at. So we have a cruise coming up, ladies and gentlemen. I do need to mention this because I got, anyway, we have a cruise coming up. And if you want to join us on that cruise, please reach out to any of us, any of the hosts, myself, Cactus Katie, EC, Big Daddy Cool, Sheriff, Vince, anybody at UPR. If you want to join us for the WrestleMania cruise, I did need to pitch this. We did not been pitching this the last couple of weeks. I don't know why we haven't been. I think Vince did, though, last week. I don't remember. But yes, please join us for that. And get the information from any of the hosts. Please do. Hit us up. Don't be a stranger. We'll give you all the information you need for that. Promise. Anyway, I'm Matt Maddog. That's Cactus Katie. It's 12 in the morning. We're signing off.
We're out
next week. Good night, guys.
Good night.